Okay, that's my audience. Okay, this is my invention/discovery speech. My presentation aid is a PowerPoint. The pyramids, the Great Sphinx, giant temples, monuments, and statues erected long ago, now crumbling and covered in sand. What do these structures all have in common? They are covered in hieroglyphs that contain massive amounts of information about ancient Egypt. An individual might wonder how today we have deciphered this form of writing to understand all that we do about ancient Egypt. The answers would lie no further than the Rosetta Stone. According to Max Sewell of the Napoleon series in his article, The Discovery of the Rosetta Stone is a giant slab of basalt rock etched with a message scripted in Greek, ancient Egypt hieroglyphs, and Demotic, an early form of Egyptian language that hieroglyphs evolved from. Mr. Sewell also states in his article that the stone was discovered by Pierre Francois Xavier Bouchard in the village of Rashid near the Nile River in Egypt. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone was an important piece in deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, which allowed modern-day archaeologists to decode other discoveries and understand ancient Egypt. Throughout this speech, I will elaborate on why the discovery of the Rosetta Stone was so important. The discovery was important because the stone allowed the Greeks to translate it, which then allowed other artifacts to be decoded as well. This allowed ancient Egypt to be discovered completely. As just stated above, the discovery of the Rosetta Stone allowed people who spoke Greek to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs. Max Sewell also states in his article I mentioned above that scholars look to identify known terms in the hieroglyphs script. Thomas Young made advances by identifying ancient names like Cleopatra and Ptolemy. Bilingual script from a previous discovery called the Karnak obelisk helped further facilitate translations. According to Pamela from History in the Margins in her article Learning to Read Ancient Egypt, various scholars worked together to compile translation answers. Jean-Francois Champollion worked off Thomas Young's work to formulate a system of grammar. Scholars from different areas could work at the same time and identify different terms, working from the script from the stone and from other script discoveries. Once translators had deciphered the Rosetta Stone, they had the knowledge needed to translate other artifacts. Pamela's article I stated above also tells us that without the deciphering of the Rosetta Stone, the message would most likely never have been recorded and artifacts across Egypt would have no value. No one could read hieroglyphs before this discovery. The discovery was a catalyst because it revealed that a group of symbols made one word. Scholars used this grouping to find out what missing letters were with the help of knowing what known letters were. Going back to my first source, Max Sewell's article also informed us that the fact that Greek was available as a language on the stone allowed scholars to compile their findings. Champollion used his knowledge of Greek and other old languages to draw connections. This allowed scholars from all over the world to decipher the message at the same time and increase meaning. Now that scholars had deciphered multiple artifacts in ancient Egypt, this opened doors to learning all about ancient Egyptian culture. According to Jason B. Jones in his article, Deciphering the Rosetta Stone Unlocks Egyptian History, the decoding of the language of hieroglyphs led to modern-day archaeologists understanding ancient Egypt. Deciphering hieroglyphs allowed scientists to read other scripts more thoroughly. When new discoveries were made, archaeologists could decipher the message completely. Understanding their new discoveries led to new theories, ideas, and questions. Also, according to Larkin Mitchell in his article, The Earliest Egyptian Glyphs, reading the other scripts increased the amount of knowledge available to archaeologists. Hieroglyphs were written to record a multiple of information from religious information to stories about culture and famous leaders. Without the ancient translation from the Rosetta Stone, these stories would be as unknown as most of the old Egyptian world. In conclusion, my speech has stated that the discovery of the Rosetta Stone was an important deciphering tool in learning about hieroglyphs and about ancient Egypt. As my main points have pointed out, without this discovery, Greek translators would never have been able to decode hieroglyphs, and without their knowledge, other artifacts in Egypt would have remained of no value. This discovery enabled modern-day archaeologists to decode ancient Egypt. So I hope that every time you read about or see the pyramids, the Great Sphinx, or the rest of the ruins of ancient Egypt, you remember that without the Rosetta Stone, they would be nothing but meaningless structures left to be ambiguous. Okay, we're done.